In this video, I'm bringing historical figures from the 1800s back to life. I've taken real portraits, enhanced them, added color, and animated each one so they move, smile, and feel more real than ever. These aren't just old photos. These were real people, with stories worth remembering. Let me show you who they were. Elizabeth of Bavaria, known as Sisi, was one of the most mysterious royals of her time. She hated court life, traveled constantly, and even had her own personal gym on the royal train. William Thackeray was the sharp wit behind Vanity Fair, a novel with no real hero, just flawed, fascinating characters. Napoleon III, nephew of the famous Napoleon Bonaparte, was the first president of France. He rebuilt Paris into the modern city we know today, with wide boulevards and grand parks. But in war, luck didn't stay on his side. Queen Alexandra was known for her grace and kindness, and for starting fashion trends across Europe. She wore chokers to hide a small scar, and suddenly everyone wanted one. Leo Tolstoy wasn't just the author of War and Peace. He was also a radical thinker. Later in life, he gave up wealth, dressed like a peasant, and believed in living simply. Oscar Wilde was as famous for his wit as for his writing. He once said, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." Behind the sharp humor was a man who challenged society's rules and paid a high price for being different. Franz Ferdinand's assassination in 1914 lit the spark that started World War I. But before that, he was a devoted husband who married for love, against the wishes of the royal court. His story changed the world in a single moment. Marie Curie was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and the only person to win in two different sciences. She discovered radioactivity, but carried test tubes in her pockets, not knowing the danger. Charles Darwin spent 5 years sailing around the world, and came back with a theory that would shake science forever. His idea of evolution by natural selection changed how we see life itself. Tsar Nicholas II was a man of deep faith and a strong sense of duty, but his reign saw the fall of the Russian Empire. His tragic end, alongside his family, marked the end of centuries of Romanov rule in Russia. Giuseppe Garibaldi was a fearless military leader who fought to unite Italy. Known as the hero of two worlds, he led revolutionary campaigns in both South America and Europe, becoming a symbol of freedom and patriotism. Sarah Bernhardt was known as the Divine Sarah, a name she earned through her powerful stage presence. She was the first actress to tour the world, performing on stages from Paris to New York, and even acted in a silent film in her 70s. Thomas Edison held over 1,000 patents and invented the electric light bulb, but he also failed more than anyone else. His motto? "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Franz Joseph I ruled Austria-Hungary for 68 years, one of the longest reigns in European history. Despite his long reign, he was known for his stoicism and personal tragedy, losing both his son and his wife in heartbreaking circumstances. Nikola Tesla was a visionary who saw the future of electricity. While Thomas Edison was busy with direct current, Tesla championed alternating current, which powers the world today. Chester Arthur entered the presidency with low expectations, but surprised everyone by fighting corruption and reforming the civil service. He even earned the nickname, the Gentleman President. Anna Pavlova brought ballet to the world. Her signature role, the Dying Swan, moved audiences to tears. With grace and passion, she became the first ballerina to tour the globe, and made ballet beloved far beyond Russia. Edward VII waited longer than any heir before him, nearly 60 years, to become king. Known for his charm and diplomacy, he helped modernize the monarchy and gave his name to the Edwardian era, a time of elegance and change. Harry Houdini wasn't just an escape artist, he was a global sensation. From breaking out of handcuffs underwater to exposing fake spiritualists, Houdini turned magic into a fearless fight for truth and showmanship. Charles Dickens turned the struggles of 19th century England into timeless stories. He wrote Oliver Twist and A Christmas Carol, drawing from his own childhood hardships to give voice to the poor and forgotten. James Garfield rose from poverty to the presidency, a true self-made man. But just months into office, he was shot by an assassin. His long, painful fight to survive gripped the nation and led to major reforms after his death. Queen Victoria ruled for over 63 years, a symbol of empire, family, and tradition. Her era shaped the modern world, and under her reign, Britain became the most powerful nation on earth. Louis Pasteur changed medicine forever. He proved that germs cause disease, invented vaccines, and created pasteurization. Thanks to him, millions of lives have been saved. Lily Langtry was more than just a beauty. She was an actress, socialite, and the first woman to become a celebrity simply for being herself. Even Queen Victoria's son, the future Edward VII, couldn't resist her charm. In 1906, Gandhi launched his first non-violent resistance campaign in South Africa. It was the birth of Satyagraha, his powerful philosophy of truth and peaceful protest that would one day shake the British Empire. Mark Twain, the man who gave us The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, once said, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes." Matilda Kshestinska was one of Russia's most famous ballerinas, renowned for her incredible talent and beauty. She was not only the prima ballerina of the Russian Imperial Ballet, but also the mistress of Tsar Nicholas II. Victor Hugo wasn't just a novelist, he was a political activist and poet. His masterpieces Les Miserables and The Hunchback of Notre Dame became symbols of compassion and social justice. Frederick Douglass was born into slavery, but became one of the most eloquent voices for freedom and equality. His speeches and writings helped ignite the abolitionist movement and inspire generations to fight for justice. Louise Michel was a passionate activist and key figure in the Paris Commune of 1871. Known as the Red Virgin, she fought for workers' rights, women's equality, and the end of oppression, even after being exiled for her beliefs. Rutherford Hayes became president after a contentious election in 1876. Known for his commitment to civil service reform, he promised to restore integrity to the White House after the scandals of his predecessors. Benjamin Harrison was the only president to serve immediately after a former president, Grover Cleveland. He signed the Sherman Antitrust Act, tackling monopolies and helping shape America's economic future. William I was the first emperor of unified Germany. His reign marked the beginning of the German Empire, and he oversaw the remarkable unification of various German states under Prussian leadership, shaping modern Europe. Mary Todd Lincoln was a woman of strong will and intellect who played a pivotal role as First Lady during one of America's darkest times. Ulysses S. Grant was a brilliant general during the Civil War, leading the Union Army to victory. As president, he focused on Reconstruction and worked to enforce civil rights for freed slaves, though his administration was marred by scandals. Mary Edwards Walker was the first woman to receive the Medal of Honor for her service as a surgeon during the Civil War. Known for wearing pants instead of a dress, she was a trailblazer for women in medicine and gender equality. Robert E. Lee was a brilliant military tactician who became the symbol of the Confederate South during the American Civil War. Despite his skill as a leader, he was ultimately forced to surrender, and his legacy remains a subject of deep debate in American history. Colette was a literary icon who broke social taboos with her bold, sensuous writing. Her most famous work, Gigi, became a symbol of female independence and love, and she was one of the first women to receive the prestigious Goncourt Prize in France. Abraham Lincoln is remembered for leading the United States through the Civil War and abolishing slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation. His leadership, wisdom, and commitment to unity still inspire Americans and the world today. The legacy of those who shaped history continues to echo in our lives today. Their actions, their words, their courage still inspire the world.